Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting session on data mining today. My name is Rajan Chetri, and in today's session I'm going to share my understanding of data mining. Let us start with the agenda first of all. So initially we are going to start with the introduction of what data mining is, and we are trying to understand the basics of it. Once we understand the basics of data mining, we'll try to understand data mining more in detail. And after that, we'll be understanding the various application areas of data mining. Let us start with the intro. Well, before we start discussing what data mining is, first of all, let us understand the basics of why we need data mining and how it all started. So, in today's scenario, one way of people's success is identified by how they are communicating and sharing the information with others. That's where the concept of language comes into the picture. However, there are many languages in the world. Each has many standards and alphabets, and the combination of these words arranged meaningfully resulted in the formation of a sentence. Each language has its own rules while developing these sentences, and these set of rules are known as grammar. In today's world, according to industry estimates, only 20% of the data is being generated in the structured format as we speak. As we tweet or as we send some messages on WhatsApp, email, Facebook, Instagram, or whatnot. And the majority of this data exists in the textual form, which is a highly unstructured format. In order to produce meaningful insights from this text data, we exactly need to follow something called text analysis. Now that's where data mining comes into the picture. Data mining is a process of discovering predictive information from the analysis of large databases. For a data scientist, data mining can be a vague and daunting task. It requires a diverse set of skills and knowledge of many data mining techniques to take raw data and successfully get insights from it. Alright, now as we have provided the introduction to data mining, first of all, let us start with why exactly we need to do data mining. So let us answer some basic questions here, such as why data mining. In order to understand data mining, let us take some use cases here. For example, let's say credit rating or targeted marketing. So what exactly this is? Let us suppose there is a database given of, let's say, 100,000 names. Which persons are the least likely to default on their credit cards? Identify likely responders to sale promotions. So that is basically one of the use case where we use data mining. The second use case could be fraud detection. Now, what exactly is the role played by data mining in fraud detection? We can answer such questions. For example, let's say, which types of transactions are likely to be fraudulent, given the customer demographics and transactional history of a particular customer. The third use case could be customer relationship management. After all, every company wants to have good relations with their customers. Using data mining, we can answer such questions. For example, which of my customers are likely to be the most loyal and which are most likely to leave for a competitor? Now, we can answer all these questions and solve all these scenarios by using data mining here. Now, data mining helps extract such information. Alright, so in data mining, we process or semi-automatically we analyze large databases to find patterns that are valid, that are novel, useful, and understandable. Now, this process is also known as KDD. KDD stands for Knowledge Discovery Database. Now, let us talk about the applications of data mining, where we can exactly, implement data mining techniques. So the applications of data mining can be banking. Well, let us understand banking in terms of loan or credit card approval. You can think of, you know, predicting good customers based on old customers. Second example, as I mentioned earlier, could be customer relationship management. The use case could be identifying those who are likely to leave for a competitor. Third, targeted marketing that we have already done. Well, identify likely responders to the promotion. And four is basically fraud detection. Well, from an online stream of events, identify the fraudulent events is an application of data mining. Well, we can use data mining in manufacturing and production. Well, using data mining, we can automatically adjust knobs when processes parameter changes. We can use data mining in healthcare as well, or in simple words, we can use it in medicines. For example, for identifying the disease outcomes, effectiveness of the treatment, analyzing patients' disease history, finding a relationship between diseases. All these things can be done using data mining. Well, we can use data mining for scientific analysis as well, and we can use data mining in websites for design and promotion. Let us understand types of data mining. Well, there are various types of data mining we have available. So let us understand data mining can be performed in the following types of data. So we can perform data mining on the data which is fetched from a relational database. Well, if you don't have any understanding of what a relational database is, let me provide you with a small description here. A relational database is a collection of multiple data sets, formally organized by tables, records, and columns from which data can be accessed in various ways without having to recognize the tables itself. Table convey and share information which facilitates data searchability, reporting, and organization basically. We can think of performing data mining on the data from data warehouses. Now data warehouse is in itself is a broader domain. So what exactly is a data warehouse? A data warehouse is basically a technology that collects the data from various sources within the organization to provide some meaningful business insights. The huge amount of data which comes from multiple sources such as marketing, maybe finance, is extracted and utilized for analytical purposes and help in making decisions. You can call it as a decision science as well. Well, we can do the data mining fetched from data repositories. We can do the data mining fetched from object relational databases. And we can also perform the data mining from transactional databases. Well, there are various advantages of data mining that we have. So for example, the data mining techniques enables any organization to obtain knowledge based data. The second advantage can be it enables organization to make lucrative modifications in operations and productions for attracting more customers. Compared with other statistical data applications, data mining is a cost efficient solution. Well, if you combine every aspect of data mining in simple words, it is going to help the organizations for decision making. Well, it is a quick process and it is easy for new users to analyze enormous amount of data. All right, now we have a clear understanding of what data mining is and what are its applications. Let us understand how the data mining is implemented. The implementation of data mining entirely relies on the KDD process in data mining. So here we are going to spend some time on understanding what this KDD process in data mining is. Well, I hope you remember the term. KDD stands for knowledge discovery in databases. Well, volume of information is increasing every day that we can handle, from business transactions, scientific data, sensor data, pictures, videos, or whatnot. Well, we need a system that will be capable of extracting essence of information available and that can automatically generate reports, views, or summary of data for better decision making. Well, data mining is used for business to make better managerial decisions. We make better managerial decisions by automatic summarization of the data, by extracting the essence of information stored, or by discovering the patterns in the raw data. For this, let us understand what are the steps which are involved in the KDD process. Well, in order to understand the steps in KDD process, let us look at the phases here. Alright, so here you can see a pictorial representation of how the KDD process is followed in data mining. Here we have various components here, such as starting from databases to data warehouses. Then there's a data mining process and finding the patterns and pattern evaluation, and then there is a knowledge here. So let us understand all these phases one by one in a step-by-step manner. So the very first phase that we are talking here about is basically the data cleaning. So what exactly is data cleaning? Data cleaning can be defined as a removal of noisy and irrelevant data from your collection. Well, we perform the data cleaning if there are any missing values in the data. We clean the noisy data where the noise is a random or a variance error. We do the cleaning with data discrepancy detection and data transformation tools. Then the next phase is data integration. Now, data integration is defined as heterogeneous data from multiple sources combined in a common source, such as data warehouse. Now, this data integration happens using data migration tools, or we can also call them data synchronization tools. Well, this data integration using extract, transform, load process is the solution, right? So we use ETL process for this data integration. Then there is something called data selection and transformation, right? So let us discuss the data selection first of all. Data selection is defined as a process where the data relevant to the analysis is decided and retrieved from the collection, or the data collection, you can say. Well, data selection can be done using neural networks. It can be done, using decision trees, naive Bayes, or clustering, or regression, etc. So there are actually, tons and tons of algorithms and techniques available for data selection. Well, once the data selection process is done, we move forward to the data transformation. Let us understand data transformation clearly here. Data transformation can be defined as a process of transforming data into an appropriate form which is required for the mining procedure, right? So data transformation is basically a two-step process. One is basically, let's call it data mapping, and the second is code generation. Well, in data mapping, we assign elements from source base to a destination to capture the transformation. Well, if we talk about the code generation, it is simple. It is creation of the actual transformation program, which is going to do the action or processing for us. Once we have done the data selection and data transformation process, we move to the next phase, and that is data mining. Data mining, as I explained earlier, it is a process of clever techniques, we can say, right, that are applied to extract patterns which are potentially useful for the businesses. Well, then we move on to pattern evaluation. Pattern evaluation is something which is used for identifying strictly increasing patterns representing knowledge based on measures. For example, we can use summarization here, we can use visualization of the data to make the data understandable by the user. Then finally, knowledge representation. And this knowledge representation is basically the technique, right, which is used for representing data or the mining results. For knowledge representation, we can use various tools such as we can use tables, we can use reports, we can use any classification or characterization rules. There are tons and tons of processes. All right, so this is a gist of how the KDD process happens in a data mining process and the various components which are involved in it. I hope you have understood the concepts clearly here. All right, so as we have understood how to implement the KDD process in data mining, let us understand the various techniques that are used for data mining. So here we are trying to understand data mining techniques. There are various techniques available for implementing data mining. Here we are going to discuss these data mining techniques one by one. First of all, let us talk about the very popular data mining technique, and that is classification. Well, classification is used to retrieve important and relevant information about data and metadata. This data mining method helps to classify data in different classes. The second technique that we are learning here is class clustering. Clustering is the second data mining technique. Well, clustering analysis is a data mining technique to identify data that are like each other. This process helps to understand the difference and similarities between the data. The third technique that we are talking here about data mining is regression. Well, regression analysis is the data mining method of identifying and analyzing the relationships between the variables. It is used to identify the likelihood of a specific variable given the presence of other variables. The fourth technique that we are talking here about is association rules. Now, what exactly this is? This is a data mining technique that helps to find the association between two or more items. It discovers a hidden pattern in a data set. The fifth technique here we are talking about is outer detection. What is outer detection? This type of data mining technique refers to observation of data items in the dataset which do not match an expected pattern or expected behavior. This technique can be used in a variety of domains such as intrusion detection, fraud, or fault detection, etc. Outer detection is also called outlier analysis or outlier mining. Now, the next technique here we are talking about is sequential patterns. This data mining technique helps to discover or identify similar patterns or trends in transaction data for certain period. And the next technique here we are talking about is prediction. Prediction has used a combination of other techniques of data mining like trends, sequential pattern, clustering, classification. Basically, what it does, it analyzes past events or instances in a right sequence for predicting a future event. Well, there are various data mining techniques which we can use here, but when we use the techniques of data mining, there are various challenges which are associated with the implementation. For example, there are various challenges such as skilled experts. So, skilled experts are needed to formulate the data mining queries. The second challenge is basically the overfitting. Due to the small size training database, a model may not fit future states. The third challenge is basically the data mining needs large databases which sometimes are difficult to manage. Well, business practices may need to be modified to determine to use the information uncovered. What if the dataset is not diverse? Data mining results may not be accurate. And finally, the integration information needed from heterogeneous databases and global information systems could be complex. Now, there were the various challenges which are associated with data mining. Let us talk about the data mining tools which we can use to implement the techniques. So there are various data mining tools which are available in the market here. The very popular data mining tools are R language, so R language is an open source tool for statistical computing and graphics. R has a wide variety of classical statistical test, time series analysis, classification, and graphical techniques. It offers effective data handling and storage facility. The second technique is Oracle data mining. Well, Oracle data mining, popularly known as ODM, is a module of the Oracle's Advanced Analytics database. This data mining tool allows data analysts to generate detailed insights and make predictions. It helps predict customer behavior, develop customer profiles, identify cross-selling opportunities. And the third tool that we are talking here about is Python. Well, Python is a popular programming language which is widely used for machine learning or data science implementations. It has a wide array of libraries available which can be used for implementing data mining. Let us talk about a very popular confusion or a subject which basically creates a misunderstanding between data mining versus machine learning. It has been observed that many of the learners assume that both are same. Let us understand the difference between data mining and machine learning. Well, data mining relates to extracting information from a large quantity of data. Data mining is a technique of discovering different kinds of patterns that are inherited in the dataset and which are precise, new, and useful. Data mining is working as a subset of business analytics and similar to experimental studies. Data mining's origin are databases and statistics. Whereas if we talk about the machine learning includes an algorithm that automatically improves through database experience. Machine learning is a way to find a new algorithm from experience. Machine learning includes the study of an algorithm that can automatically extract the data. Machine learning utilizes data mining techniques and other learning algorithms to construct models of what is happening behind certain information so that it can predict future results. Data mining and machine learning are areas that have been influenced by each other. Although they have many common things, yet they have different ends. Data mining is performed on certain data sets by humans to find interesting patterns between the items in the dataset. Data mining uses techniques created by machine learning for predicting the results, while machine learning is the capability of the computer to learn from a minded dataset. Machine learning algorithms takes the information that represents the relationship between items in a dataset and creates models in order to predict future results. These models are nothing more than actions that will be taken by the machine to achieve a result. So I think this explanation should clear the difference between machine learning and data mining. Well, there are many other differences which we can discuss about data mining and machine learning. For example, let's talk about origin. Well, if we talk about origin of data mining, it is from traditional databases with unstructured data. If we talk about the origin of machine learning here, it has an existing algorithm and data. Well, if we talk about the meanings of both the terms, the data mining stands up about extracting information from a huge amount of data. Whereas on the other side, if we talk about the meaning of machine learning, it introduces new information from data as well as previous experience. New information from previous experience. Well, if we go a little back in the history of both the terms, this data mining is in existence since 1930s, popularly known as KDD. Whereas if we talk about the machine learning, this was very first introduced in the 1950s. Well, if we talk about the purpose of both the concepts of data mining and machine learning, data mining is used to obtain the rules from the existing data. Rules from the existing data. Whereas if we talk about the machine learning here, machine learning basically teaches a computer about how to learn and comprehend the rule, about how to learn and comprehend the rule. Well, if we talk about the applications here, there are various applications of both the domains here. So, whereas where data mining is basically used for variety of use cases, let's say the cluster analysis. Whereas the machine learning can be used to obtain the results from the large amount of data which are very precise and accurate. The machine learning has its implementations or applications in web and computers and in designs everywhere. Well, there are various techniques available for data mining. We have already discussed this, and there are other libraries available for machine learning. All right, so it looks like both have a very good scope of implementation for solving the real world problems. All right, this time let us understand the difference between data mining versus data warehousing. Well, we have already explained what data mining is. Here, this time we are going to understand data warehousing more in detail. Well, data warehousing refers to the process of compiling and organizing data into one common database. whereas data mining refers to the process of extracting useful data from the database. The data mining process depends on the data compiled in the data warehouse phase to recognize meaningful patterns. A data warehousing is created to support management systems. A data warehouse refers to a place where exactly data can be stored for useful mining. It is like a quick computer system with exceptionally huge data storage capacity. Data from various organizations' systems are copied to the warehouse where it can be fetched and confirmed to delete errors. Here, advanced requests can be made against the warehouse storage of data. How a data warehousing process looks like basically. We can think of data warehousing process in this way. So let us suppose here we have the various sources of data. So here this is the source of data. Now this source of data is basically, from this source of data, the data is basically extracted and transformed. Once the data is transformed, the data is loaded at the target machine or at the destination or in the warehouse. This is how the process of a data warehouse looks like. Data warehouse combines data from numerous sources which ensures the data quality, accuracy, and consistency. Data warehouses boost system execution by separating analytics processing from transactional databases. Data flows into a data warehouse from a different databases. A data warehouse works by sorting out data into a pattern that depicts the format and types of data. Data warehouses and databases both are relative data systems, but both are made to serve different purposes. A data warehouse is built to store a huge amount of historical data and empowers fast request over all the data, typically using OLAP or online analytical processing. Whereas on the other side, a database is made to store current transactions and allow quick access to specific transactions for ongoing business processes, commonly known as online transaction processing. Alright, here let us try to understand the difference between data mining and data analytics. Many of the learners have been observed considering both the same. Well, data mining and data analytics are crucial steps in any data driven projects and are needed to be done with perfection to ensure the project's success. Adhering to both fields' closeness, as mentioned earlier, can make finding the difference between data mining and analytics quite challenging. Before we are in a state to understand do a data mining versus data analytics comparison, we must first closely understand the two fields very closely. Well, we have been discussing data mining for a while, but let's give it a quick revision here. Data mining is a deliberate and successive cycle of distinguishing and finding sharded examples and identifying useful data in an enormous dataset. It's otherwise also called knowledge discovery in database, which has been already told to all of you. It's been trend since the 1990s and has been in existence since 1930s. The improvement in computing prowess has allowed data mining to become streamlined and mainstream. Whereas on the other side, if we talk about data analysis, it is the information analysis, then again is a superset of data mining, which includes removing, cleaning, changing, demonstrating the data to reveal significant and valuable insights that can help determine the way to proceed forward and make choices pertaining to the company in question. Well, data analysis as a cycle has been around since the 1960s. It has only recently come into the mainstream and has proven to be an indispensable tool to any significant global player's arsenal. Now that we know the basics of data mining and data analytics, we are positioned to pit data mining versus data analytics head to head and understand all the nuances and differences between data mining and data analytics. Well, although data mining and data analytics are two different words in the field of data, they are sometimes used in place of the others. The usage and the meaning behind the terms depend highly on the context and the company in question. To set up their individual identities such that you can easily differentiate between the two, you will find the significant contrasting points here. For example, let us talk about the very first point here, which is data mining. Well, data mining is a criteria, right? It's a criteria, the data collection and deriving crude but essential insights. So here in data mining, the criteria which is followed here is to, it has to ensure that it collects the essential insights from the data. Data analytics then uses the data and crude hypothesis to build upon that the data create a model based on the data. Data mining is a step in the process of data analytics. Well, data analytics is the umbrella which deals with every step in the pipeline of any data driven model. Data mining shines its brightest when the data is questioned is well structured. Meanwhile, data analysis can be performed on any data, it would still be able to derive meaningful insights that could help in propelling the corporations to even greater height. Well, when we are talking about data mining, it is you know it's it is task oriented. So data mining is tasked to accomplish the main job to make the data that is being used more usable, whereas data analysis is used to hypothesize and in the end culminate itself in providing valuable information to help in business decisions. All right. So data mining does not need any bias or any notion which are instilled before tackling the data, whereas data analysis is majorly used for hypothesis testing. Data mining uses the scientific and mathematical models and methods to identify patterns or trends in the data that is being mined. On the other hand, if we talk about data analysis, it is employed to task with business analytics problems and derive analytical models. Data mining usually does not depend on any visualizations or bar charts or graphs, etc. Whereas these visualizations are the bread and butter for data analysis. Without a good representation of the data, all the efforts which are put into the analysis of the data would not come to fruition. Well, to give it a conclusion here, we have been seeing both the terms, that is, data mining and data analysis, for a long time. These terms were palpable until the leap in the sheer power computers made it possible for anyone with a computer to jump in and play with the data. Both data mining and data analytics are crucial to be done perfectly. Due to the very nature of the two following fields, their names have been used interchangeably by individual business people. Meanwhile, there are also people present who have appreciated the differences in the areas and made sure to respect the boundaries of the two fields. In whatever camp you might side with, you cannot deny the importance of both in a data driven world of the 21st century. Another thing set in stone is the skill set required for these fields. Alright, so let us talk about the top data mining algorithms here. Data mining algorithms are applied through the algorithms behind it. These algorithms run on the data extraction softwares and are applied based on the business need. Some of the algorithms that are widely used by the organizations to analyze the datasets are as follows. The very first algorithm that we're discussing here is a very popular algorithm for data mining. This algorithm is popularly known as K-means. K-means is a popular cluster analysis technique where a group of similar items are clustered together. Let us talk about the second algorithm. The second algorithm is also widely used for data mining, and this is a priori algorithm. Well, it is a frequent item set mining technique, and association rules are applied to it on transactional databases. It will detect frequent item set and highlight general trends. The third is also very popular here, and this is called K nearest neighbor. This method is used for classification and regression analysis. The K nearest neighbor is lazy learning, where it stores the training data, and when a new unlabeled data comes, it will classify the input data. The fourth algorithm is basically Naive Bayes. It is a group of simple probabilistic classification algorithms which assume that each data object features are independent of the other. It is an application of Bayes' theorem. And the fifth algorithm is basically AdaBoost. It is a machine learning meta algorithm that is used to improve performance. AdaBoost is sensitive to noisy data and outliers. Alright, so this brings us to the conclusion of today's session. Well, before we conclude the session, let us have a quick summary of what we have discussed. Well, first of all, let us start from the definition of data mining. Data mining is all about explaining the past and predicting the future via data analysis. Well, data mining helps you extract information from huge sets of data. It is a procedure of mining knowledge from data. The process of this data mining includes business understanding, data preparation, modeling, evaluations, and deployment. Well, important data mining techniques are classification, clustering, regression, association rules, auto detection, sequential patterns, and predictions. R language and Oracle data mining, as well as Python, these are the prominent data mining tools and techniques. Well, data mining helps companies to get knowledge-based information. The main drawback of data mining is that many analytics software is difficult to operate and require advanced training to work on. Data mining is used in diverse industries such as communications, insurance, education, manufacturing, banking, retail, e-commerce, and supermarkets. In this video tutorial, we have discussed the various data mining techniques that can help organizations and business find the most useful and relevant information. Well, this information is used to create models that will predict the behavior of customers for the businesses to act on it. By understanding all the information that we have delivered in this session about the data mining techniques, one can determine its credibility and feasibility even better. Data extraction techniques include working with data, reformatting, restructuring, and the various processings which are followed during the KDD process. Well, finally, all these techniques that we have discussed on the methods in data mining systems help in the discovery of new creative innovations. Well, that's all for the day, everyone. So with this, I would like to conclude the session, and a big thumbs up to you for watching the video till here. If you liked the video, please do not forget to hit the like button, press the subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the bell icon for the latest updates. Thank you for watching the video. I'll see you in my next video. Take care.